wanted to kill us, you would have done it at the junkyard.
What is that?
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at shows that were struggling to find their voice or headed down a misguided path, but managed to turn things around with one particular moment. We'll have to delve into a few spoilers.
My timeline is being erased. The timeline where you died no longer exists.
Number 10, a familiar home invasion, Fargo. After 3 seasons well worthy of the Coen brothers' original masterpiece, this anthology series started to lose its audience with a meandering 4th season. When season 5 premiered, many assumed Fargo was past its prime. It hooked us back in with a scene that returned to the franchise's roots. Juno Temple's Dot is enjoying a peaceful day at home when masked men break in. This mirrors a sequence from the 1996 film when Mrs. Lundegard is taken. Instead of tripping and knocking herself out though, Dot asserts that she's a tiger who won't go quietly. This sets a tone for a season that perhaps shares the most in common with the source material, yet still stands out as a unique story in the Fargo universe. Number 9, Eleven reunites with the group, Stranger Things. Eleven might have been season 1's MVP, but part of the character's appeal was seeing her interact with her new friends. She spends most of season 2 separated from the group, causing her storyline to drag.
Watch it, kid.
Mouth breather.
It hits a low point when Eleven teams up with a band of discount X-Men. Thankfully, it only took one more episode for Stranger Things to get back on track.
With our heroes trapped in a cabin surrounded by demodogs, we hear a brutal scuffle off screen.
Through the door walks Eleven, who couldn't be happier to see her friends and vice versa. It took a minute, but seeing Eleven and Mike exchange relieved smiles made the journey to this reunion worth it. Plus, Eleven was overdue for another badass moment. Number 8, The Mandalorian Season 2.5, The Book of Boba Fett. After being a fan favorite for decades, Boba Fett finally got his own miniseries, and the response was,
I will resolve this.
It wasn't the worst or anything, but fans were generally underwhelmed, leaving them to ask, when are we getting new Mandalorian episodes? The showrunners seemingly had the same thought as Mando suddenly pops up in episode 5, hijacking the show from an MIA Boba Fett.
One could argue that this is sloppy storytelling since the show is called The Book of Boba Fett.
Your boss is dead. I'm here to collect on his bounty.
It's like if you tuned into Frasier and got an episode of Cheers instead. Nevertheless, we'd be lying if we said that the show didn't become immensely better with the arrival of Mando and later Grogu, turning a skippable series into a must-watch. Number 7, The Ending, Gilmore Girls. Season 7 of Gilmore Girls is often cited as the weakest due to the absence of Amy Sherman Palladino and Daniel Palladino.
Well, the party's canceled.
Wait a second. Did you just say Rory's graduation party is canceled?
Oh no, it's good news. Someone got a job.
While that didn't help, the show already dug itself into a hole with Luke having a daughter he never knew about and Lorelai sleeping with Christopher. The final season had to deal with this fallout, but it found redemption by the end.
It was fantastic.
Thanks.
It's worth getting through these rough patches to see Stars Hollow bid Rory farewell and Luke reconcile with Lorelai. The last scene in particular hits just the right note with Rory and Lorelai sitting down to a meal at Luke's, going back to where the series started.
Well, how do people know you're the world's greatest reporter?
I don't know.
I guess I'll just have to read your stuff.
I guess so.
Sherman Palladino also eventually shared the ending she had in mind with a more mixed reception. Number 6, Jerry's Pony Remark, Seinfeld. Seinfeld is one of the greatest sitcoms of all time, but those who watch it from the beginning are inclined to say, I don't get it.
Well, I got the tools, I got the pillows, all I need is the lumber.
Admittedly, the show was still figuring itself out in season 1, but things started to click with this season 2 episode. At a dinner party, Jerry makes an offhanded remark about hating anybody who had a pony growing up.
I hate anyone that ever had a pony when they were growing up.
Little does he realize that the elderly hostess had a pony taking offense.
He was a beautiful pony, and I loved him.
Adding injury to insult, she dies shortly after, with some suspecting Jerry's comment killed her.
Oh, how she loved that pony.
This moment captured what Seinfeld evolved into. It's not a show about nothing, it's about how nothing can snowball into something.
Well, why would anyone come here if they had a pony? Who leaves a country packed with ponies to come to a non-pony country?
It also unearthed the dark humor that had formed the show's identity. Number 5, Brian Resurrected, Family Guy. When Brian got hit by a car and died, we all thought to ourselves, they can't be serious.
He was like a brother to me, and I'm gonna spend the rest of my life missing him.
Apparently they were, as the episode ends with the Griffins moving on and getting a new dog named Vinny.
So what do you say? You want me as your dog?
Yeah, I think I do.
He'd remain the family's dog for 2 more episodes until Stewie went back in time, saving Brian. Some felt that killing Brian off only to bring him back so quickly was a cheap ratings ploy. While we can't argue otherwise, resurrecting Brian was better than the alternative of having him remain dead.
You're alive, my friend!
What? Of course I'm alive. What the hell's going on here?
Family Guy's been hit and miss since then, but it's safe to say that there would have been far more misses without Brian. The show just couldn't continue without his presence. Number 4, Joey and Rachel break up. Friends. In season 8, Rachel and Joey briefly consider having sex before realizing that would be ridiculous.
Well, I gotta get up early, and it's almost 7 o'clock, so...
I gotta go to my room,
Okay,
too.
good night.
Good night.
It's treated as a joke, which makes it all the more jarring when Joey falls in love with Rachel 1 episode later. While this at least leads to some welcome character development, the show gets into shark jumping territory when Rachel later returns Joey's feelings.
Let's not make a big thing about this.
It's a huge thing.
Season 10 kicks off with them becoming a couple, but it fortunately doesn't last long. Joey and Rachel quickly find what the audience already knew. They have no romantic chemistry and they're better off as good friends.
No, I mean with us, you know? I mean, is it supposed to be this... difficult?
As cringy as this storyline was, we give the show credit for ripping off the Band-Aid and moving forward, sticking the landing with the final episodes.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere for a while.
Number 3, enter Urkel, Family Matters. According to Brighton James, who played Richie Crawford on Family Matters, the long-running sitcom almost didn't make it past 1 season. Any chatter of cancellation seemed to go out the window after episode 12, when Jaleel White made his debut as Steve Urkel.
Hi, Laura. I hear you can't get a date for the dance.
Despite becoming synonymous with the show, the Winslow's nerdy neighbor was only meant to be a one-off character. Urkel soon went from guest star to series regular to essentially being the center of the Winslow's universe.
Is Laura ready for the dance?
Had it not been for Urkel's introduction, maybe Family Matters would have prevailed and gotten another season. It's hard to imagine the show becoming a phenomenon without Urkel, however. He saved it from just being another family-friendly sitcom, turning it into something one of a kind.
I hope you don't mind if I stay a while. My parents told me not to come home till 10.
Number 2, No Doze dies instead of Jesse, Breaking Bad.
Are you saying that they're stupid? No, I'm just saying.
Season 1 of this acclaimed drama concludes with drug kingpin Tuco beating his lieutenant No Doze to death over a minor comment, leaving Walt and Jesse to realize who they're dealing with.
Okay, Heisenberg! Next week.
The ending could have gone in an even more shocking direction, although it would have held Breaking Bad back from reaching its full potential. Initially, Vince Gilligan wanted Jesse to die in Season 1 during a drug deal gone wrong. This would establish that anyone could die with Walt carrying the guilt. Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul worked off each other so well that Gilligan spared Jesse, presumably having No Doze take his place.
Okay. All right, we'll put a pin in it.
Had the series continued without Jesse, Walt's transformation wouldn't have been nearly as fascinating, making No Doze's death more integral than we realized.
What the hell are you doing here?
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Arnold Vinnick announces his presidential run, The West Wing. Now we had a real race for the White House that kept us invested for 2 more seasons.
I ask all of you who have been with me from the beginning to set out with me today from this valley on this new quest to help me bring the promise and the opportunity of America to all Americans.
No charges pressed against Landry. Friday Night Lights. The murder storyline was bad, but it could have been much worse if it led to an arrest and trial.
They're not pressing charges.
Silence is Golden, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. After some of the show's weakest episodes, Season 4 bounced back with The Gentleman. David Tennant becomes the Doctor, Doctor Who. We like Christopher Eccleston, but for our money, the revival started with the 10th Doctor.
Hello. Okay.
New teeth. That's weird.
Frank joins the gang. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Danny DeVito elevates a promising sitcom to one of the greats.
That's a business tactic. You drop the bomb, then you soften the blow. You never tried this?
That is a terrible business tactic.
You are a horrible father.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Eddie Murphy steals the show, Saturday Night Live.
I've been a junior at Cleveland High going on 7 years now. I'd like to tell y'all that this is the most disgusting thing y'all done pulled up to date.
SNL entered a dark age without Lorne Michaels. We're not saying that Eddie Murphy single-handedly kept the show relevant. Without his presence, though, we doubt this sketch comedy would have made it past season 6, let alone to season 49. Murphy didn't even get a line with his first appearance, but writers David Sheffield and Barry W. Blaustein recognized his talents.
I don't see no judge saying that every 2 bathroom attendants got to be white.
The 3 fleshed out a character Murphy created, Raheem Abdul-Muhammad, who made his debut on Weekend Update. While his screen time is brief, Murphy's signature wit and delivery are in full force.
Because if God would have wanted whites to be equal to blacks, everybody have one of these.
From there, Murphy's ascension continued with characters like Mr. Robinson and Gumby. It all started with this sketch, putting Murphy on the map as a rising comedy superstar and saving SNL. Which TV moment do you think reverse jumped the shark? Let us know in the comments.
I didn't know she had a pony. How was I to know she had a pony?
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.